Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, PhD, GCON, as he makes his way to take a seat at the high table. And we thank the Deputy Speaker, of course, for, and we ask him to please continue. Your Excellency, sir.
Thank you very much. Please, you may have your seats. It's good to give honor to whom honor is due. You expect the amount of crowd that we have witnessed here this morning. I was here on time, but I refused to mount the rostrum because we needed to show leadership. Our women were outside without seats, and we insisted the hall needed to be expanded for the women to have space in this room. So to me, that is a reflection of an inclusive event. If the women are outside and the men are inside seated, the program will not be balanced. And I'm happy we've been able to open here. So for women who are outside, please, unless it is out of choice, we have a space for you inside here, the same way we will have a space for you in representation. Thank you very much. You are not the only ones smiling. I've seen my fathers, the kings. They are nodding and smiling. Long live the kings. It is with a sense of national duty and great optimism for the future of our nation that I welcome you to this national public hearing. We are here to engage in a foundational act of nation building. The collective reimaging and reshaping of the supreme law of our land, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Our journey as a nation has been a relentless quest for a more perfect union. It is a journey marked by the triumphs and the tribulations of forging a single national identity from a magnificent diversity of cultures, diversity of languages, diversity of history. From the colonial era, Clifford Constitution of 1922 to the current 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, each iteration of our grown-up has been a mirror reflecting our society at a point in time. Its aspirations, its anxieties, and its unresolved questions. The challenges of the 21st century demands a constitution that is not an artifact of the past, but a dynamic blueprint for the future. It must be a constitution that is not only legal, but also legitimate. One that commands the respect and allegiance of every citizen because they see their hopes, their values, and their fundamental rights reflected in its text. This is the solemn mandate of the House of Representatives Committee on Constitution Review. Since our inauguration, we have embarked on the most comprehensive, most consultative review process in Nigeria's democratic history. We have held retreats with legal scholars and technical consultants. We have convened dialogues with the judiciary, security agencies, and national women groups. We have engaged with our vibrant civil society and held zonal public hearings all through the 6 geopolitical zones of our great nation. Before us today is a compendium of 87 proposed amendment bills, each a response to the felt needs and expressed desires of the Nigerian people. They are organized around the central pillars of a modern, functional, and just society. I must clarify, as we proceed, that the items and amendment proposals before us today are not yet laws. These are, at this stage, proposals, suggestions, and ideas that have emerged through one of the most inclusive and participatory exercises in Nigeria's constitutional history. Importantly, these proposals do not simply represent the agenda of the legislature. Instead, they are, first and foremost, the thought-out demands, hopes, and memoranda of the Nigerian people themselves, gathered through extensive regional dialogues and topically focused public hearings held across the nation. It is therefore essential that the process is not misconstrued. The constitutional amendment journey is designed to be transparent, participatory, and fair. These are not the fixed positions of the National Assembly, but a compilation of the aspirations and contributions of citizens from all walks of life, yet to pass through the sieving net of the National Assembly at the federal level and the pruning fork of the scrutiny of the state houses of assembly. Today, as we commence this national public hearing, we are opening the floor one last time for those who, for any reason, may have missed the regional sections. We do this to remove every excuse of not being heard, to ensure, in good faith, that the final product of this exercise belongs not to the Parliament, but is accepted by all citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, let me also be clear that while today represents the final stage of direct public engagement in this constitutional review process, it is by no means the final day of work for this constitutional review. Rather, it marks a transition to the next phase and a return to the deliberative chambers of the Parliament, where all submissions will be critically sieved, critically refined, critically improved upon in the preparation for the momentous task of voting. We are considering extensive electoral reforms, including proposals for independent candidacy, the establishment of an electoral offences commission, and a fixed timeline for the determination of pre-election matters to ensure that the will of the people is never again subverted by legal technicalities. Thank you. We have before us bold proposals on the devolution of powers, the landmark bill to move policing from exclusive to the concurrent list, enabling the creation of state and community police forces, is a direct response to the clarion call for localized solutions to our security challenges. We are tackling head-on the long-standing issue of local government autonomy. The bills before us seek to guarantee the financial and administrative independence of our local government, ensuring that development is not an abstract concept dictated from afar, but a tangible reality in our communities. Perhaps most importantly, we are confronting the systemic exclusion that has held our nation back. We are also looking at transformative bills to create reserved seats for women in our legislative houses. Thank you. This will guarantee gender balance in government appointments. I must commend. Thank you. Thank you. I must commend the visionary leadership of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR. His renewed hope agenda has created the political will and the enabling environment for this ambitious constitutional renewal. His respect for the separation of powers and his commitment to the rule of law has been indispensable. I must pause here to mention, in the course of doing this job, the president has not interfered in any manner. He has not requested for anything in any manner. As a man who was in the legislative arm before, he believes that independence of the legislature should be allowed to breathe so that it can reflect the wishes of the people who represent. Thank you, Mr. President. But let me be unequivocally clear. The ultimate authority for this process does not reside in the executive or the legislature alone. It resides with you, the sovereign people of Nigeria. Your voices, your memoranda, and your passionate argument have brought us to this point. And your continued engagement is crucial to see this through. Constitutional reform is a marathon, not a sprint. The bills validated here will face the rigorous scrutiny of the plenary, the complex process of harmonization with the Senate, and the final critical hurdle of approval by at least 24 states, houses of assembly. Therefore, I implore you, do not let this be the end of your participation. Hold your elected representatives accountable. Engage with your state legislators. Ensure that the reforms you champion here today are not diluted or discarded on the long road to enactment. In alignment with our commitment to transparency and accountability, the final harmonized position of the National Assembly will be made available to the public before the voting process commences. In this spirit, please permit me to pause to receive my boss, Ian Zao, the Speaker of the 10th House of Representatives.
Ladies and gentlemen, shall we make welcome the Right Honorable Speaker of the 10th House of Representatives, Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Abbas Tajuddin, GCON, PhD, Speaker of the 10th House of Representatives, Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The final harmonized position of the National Assembly will be made available to the public before the voting process commences. In this spirit, I wish to specifically thank the governors of all the states that generously hosted the regional public hearing for their hospitality and their support. I must use Governor Hope Uzodimma as a point of contact to reach other governors, who is the chairman of the Governors Forum, the way he treated those who were around his region when we visited. And I'm so it's like that all through the country, because without the governors, we can't get this to pass to what we want it to be. We'll thank them for all the support they have given so far. I equally extend my deepest appreciation to all members of the Constitution Review Committee whose effort and dedication have made this process possible. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria's greatness has always been forged in the crucible of dialogue. It is our unique ability to talk, to argue, to disagree, and ultimately to find a common ground that defines us. Today, let us honor that noble tradition. Let us rise above the narrow confines of ethnicity, narrow confines of religion, narrow confines of region and language, and embrace our shared destiny as Nigerians. Let us together craft a constitution that will be a legacy of unity, a constitution that will be a legacy of justice, a constitution that will be a legacy of progress for generations yet unborn, a constitution that truly reflects the indomitable spirit of our people and the boundless promise of our beloved nation. I want to thank you for listening. God bless you and bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker. I expect the women to be making more noise. He's your champion. He's your he for she. And we thank him so very much for setting the tone for what we are doing here today. I have the permission of
House of Representatives, Dr. Tajuddin Abbas, GCON. Your Excellency, the Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, and Chairman House Committee on Review of the Constitution, Barrister Ben Kalu, CFR, Principal Officers of the House of Representatives, Senators serving and non-serving, Honorable Members, Your Excellencies, the Governors, serving and non-serving, Your Royal Highnesses, party chieftains, civil society groups, top military and police officers here present, top public servants, major stakeholders, members of the diplomatic corps, our great women and youth, invited guests, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great pleasure to convey the goodwill and warm felicitations to the federal government of Nigeria under the leadership of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, to this very important national public hearing on the review of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Let me begin by commending the House of Representatives Committee on Constitution Review, under the able chairmanship of the Deputy Speaker, Right Honorable Benjamin Okezie-Kalu, PhD, CFR, for providing this open and inclusive platform. By bringing together citizens, civil society groups, professional bodies, national institutions, political parties, and other stakeholders, the committee is giving true meaning to participatory democracy and nation building. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. It is not static, but a living document that must continually respond to the realities, aspirations, and challenges of our people. The ongoing process of its amendment provides us with yet another golden opportunity to strengthen our institutions, deepen federalism, guarantee fundamental rights, and promote justice, equity, and accountability across all spheres of national life. This engagement is particularly important as it resonates strongly with the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, which seeks to enthrone good governance, inclusivity, and sustainable development. The process you are undertaking today is therefore not only about amending legal provisions. It is about giving Nigerians renewed confidence that their voices matter in shaping the future of our democracy. I urge all participants to approach this exercise with the spirit of patriotism, responsibility, and constructive dialogue. The quality of ideas generated here will go a long way in shaping the laws and institutions that will serve generations yet unborn. On behalf of the federal government, I wish the committee and all stakeholders fruitful deliberations and assure you that the outcome of this process will receive the desired and deserved attention as part of our collective quest to build a stronger, more united and prosperous Nigeria. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Republic of Nigeria, duly represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, who's just left us. Right Honourable Speaker of the House of Reps, the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives and Chairman of the Constitution Review Committee, other leaders, religious and temporal, and members and principal officers of the House of Representatives, please permit me to stand on the existing protocol. I'm very honoured to be with you this morning, this afternoon, to represent at this very important national gathering. Let me begin by commending the leadership of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Right Honourable Tajuddin Abbas, the Deputy Speaker, Right Honourable Benjamin Kalu, and the rest of the leadership team of the House for bringing us together. I would like to welcome the presence of so many representatives from the National Assembly, from ministries, departments and agencies, traditional and religious institutions, as well as civil society, the media and the international community. Opening the doors of the constitutional amendment process to wider citizen input demonstrates commitment to promoting democratic debate and accountability. It shows an understanding that the legitimacy of any constitution rests not only on its legal foundations, but on the voices and on the aspirations of the people it serves. And the huge turnout today shows the healthy and considerable desire that there is in Nigeria for participatory democracy, and I'm noting the very large numbers of people from different interest groups, and including the women on behalf of the Special Seats Bill. The government of the United Kingdom is committed to our modest support for this process through our partnership with the Policy and Legal Advocacy Centre, PLAC. Our support is rooted in a shared belief that inclusive governance built on public participation, built on the need for fostering public trust, is a cornerstone of a resilient democracy. As your partner, the UK understands that any constitutional reform process is a complex undertaking. It needs thoughtful deliberation, the building of sufficient consensus, and the creation of shared visions for future arrangements. But any such process also presents a rare opportunity to strengthen institutions and reflect the changing needs of society, and an opportunity to continue a national journey to building more capable, accountable, responsive, and therefore more inclusive and equitable state. It's the sovereign right of Nigeria's elected representatives to lead any such constitutional review process. As onlookers, we're encouraged by the scope and ambition of your proposals, and there are some which will make a real difference to building your nation state, to make it more responsive, more inclusive and equitable. I am, of course, talking about the Special or Reserved Seats Bill, which seeks to enhance women's representation in Parliament, addressing a real concern felt by many across the nation about equity. The bill is a major step towards more inclusive representation. Around the world, we have seen how increased participation of women in governance leads to more equitable decision-making, stronger democratic outcomes, more peace, less conflict, and increased economic growth and prosperity. It's therefore great to note the very widespread support for this bill, sponsored by the Right Honourable Deputy Speaker, very much our he for she, amongst Nigerian citizens throughout this process, and especially at the zonal public hearings of the committee around Nigeria. Equally important are the proposals on decentralised policing. Security is a key area of cooperation between the UK and Nigeria, and at our recent Security and Defence Partnership dialogue in London in July, we reaffirmed our commitment to work together to address shared threats that do not respect borders and put both our peoples and our economic goals at risk. Policing is an important component of our partnership, and we look forward to working with you to implement the outcomes of the review process in this area. We commend the Constitution Review Committee for engaging on these and other issues touching on electoral reform, local government, the judiciary, and so on, issues that Nigerian citizens truly care about, in a consultative manner to debate the evidence, the pros and cons, and find the best ways forward. As your long-standing partner and friend, the UK remains committed to supporting democratic institutions and processes that build a Nigerian nation and state that's more peaceful, prosperous, and responsive to the needs of its citizens. Once again, thank you for the invitation to join you today, and we wish you well through the deliberations and the rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Jill Chioma Yetunde Zainab Lever, the Deputy British High Commissioner.
And it's so wonderful to see how this national public hearing is raising so much interest, so much enthusiasm. It poses some logistical challenges, but it shows how vibrant Nigeria's democracy is, even more vibrant that we could think. For any democracy, constitutional reviews are a sign of vitality, as they are opportunities to strengthen democracy and adjust it to evolutions of society, technologies, and the global environment. And as such, it is essential to hold a wide consultation to take into account as many opinions as possible. And so I want really to commend the Committee for Constitutional Review and its chairman, the Honorable Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu, for organizing this event. As international partner, the EU is following very closely this process. Of course, we are very careful not to meddle into what must be sovereign choice of the Nigerian people through their elected representatives and senators. But we are here to provide technical assistance, expertise, support for consultations with stakeholders. And this is what we are doing in a number of subjects on the agenda of the committee, responding to your request for support. Of course, on inclusive governments, with a special seats bill, a Nigerian-made draft reform, especially important to strengthen democracy to the benefit of all, men and women alike, and to make history. This is a great opportunity for Nigeria to make history. We are also supporting electoral reforms. We have currently our electoral follow-up mission in town, following up on our EU observation mission during the 2023 elections, and exchanging with authorities, responding to the invitation of INEC. We are also supporting your works on judicial reforms, on local government autonomy, on institutional strengthening, and on fundamental rights. And our hope is that this constitutional review will consolidate your country as a united, strong, stable, inclusive, and progressive democracy with a political level playing field, offering enhanced guarantee for the respect of fundamental rights, building a sustainable and social-minded model responding to the needs of citizens, particularly those most vulnerable, on the basis of a solid economy spurred by free and fair competition and by the formidable entrepreneurial spirit of Nigerians. Yes, with skillfully crafted constitutional reforms, Nigeria has the potential to be more and more a lighthouse of democracy for Africa and the world. So we wish the best of success to all members of the committee and all associated stakeholders in this process so important for your nation. And rest assured that you can count on the European Union and its member states as Nigeria's reliable and close partner. Long live Nigeria's democracy. Thank you very much.
On Constitutional Review Committee, Constitutional Review, for convening this important national public hearing on the review of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. Permit me to particularly commend the Right Honorable Benjamin Okezi-Kalu, the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives and Chairman of the House Committee on Constitutional Review, for his vision and dedication to a process that continues to shape our democracy, redefine governance in Nigeria. Colleagues and distinguished stakeholders, the Constitution of any nation is its supreme guide and the living framework through which citizens, institutions, and governments interact. Nigeria's experience has shown that no constitution is ever perfect or final. It must remain a work in progress, evolving in response to the realities, aspirations, and challenges of the people it governs. The state houses of assembly, as critical partners in the constitutional amendment process, play a vital role in ensuring that whatever reforms emerges from this process do not remain at the level of debate in Abuja, but are ratified, domesticated, and implemented across our states. The Conference of Speakers therefore welcomes this hearing as an opportunity for broad consultation, citizen participation, and engagement with civil society, professional bodies, and other key stakeholders. we must be frank in acknowledging that Nigeria yearns for a constitution that deepens democracy, guarantees equity and justice, strengthens institutions, and above all, addresses the pressing needs of security, development, and accountability. This hearing is therefore not just about amending text, but about renewing trust and rebuilding confidence in our democratic institutions. On our part, the Conference of Speakers is committed to playing its full role in this process. We will continue to ensure that the voices of states are heard and that the reforms agreed upon here are given the necessary ratification across our 36 assemblies. Let me end by commending the committee for opening this platform to all Nigerians. It is through inclusivity and dialogue that our Constitution will reflect the spirit of the people and stand the test of time. I wish us all fruitful deliberations. May this hearing mark another milestone toward building a more united, just, and prosperous Nigeria. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, our great and visionary leader, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, my dear beloved brother. You're welcome, sir. Your Excellency, the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, who also doubles as the Chairman of the House of Reps Committee on Review of the 1999 Constitution, Right Honorable Barrister Benjamin Carlo, my dear brother. Principal officers of the House of Representatives, for want of time, let me rest on the existing protocol, but I must recognize especially our royal fathers. I defer to you, the Ooni of Ife, the Tortivi, and the rest. On behalf of my boss, the President of the Nigerian Senate, His Excellency, Senator Goswill Obot Akpabio, who is unavoidably absent in this program as a result of conflicting official engagements, I bring you greetings from the Nigerian Senate. Like we all know, we are here today to discuss a very important topic that has to do with our coexistence as a people of Nigeria, which is the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Many has argued before now that the 1999 Constitution was handed over to us by the military and as such does not reflect nor represent the will and aspirations of the Nigerian people. Hence, this incessant clamor for alteration of the Constitution from time to time. As it stands today, the 1999 Constitution had received 5 different alterations at different times by different assemblies. Now, upon the inception of the 10th Assembly, the President of the Senate, being the Chairman of the National Assembly, in collaboration with his brother, the Speaker of the House of Reps, constituted yet another standing committee to further review the 1999 Constitution, following these unabated demands from Nigerians to make the Constitution theirs by putting provisions that will actually reflect the will of Nigerian people. That is the rationale behind this public hearing, and that is why we are here. I therefore want to charge all Nigerians to own up this exercise, because the Constitution is not for the parliament, is not for the courts, neither is it for the executive, but for the entire Nigerian people. I urge you to seize this ample opportunity presented by the House of Representatives to boldly come up and ventilate your feelings, all geared towards having a better constitution that we can actually call ours. I wish all of us peaceful deliberation so that at the end of the day, history will have it that the 10th National Assembly gave Nigerians all-encompassing and people-oriented constitution. Thank you. May God bless Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished Senator Onyekachi Nwebonyi, Deputy Whip of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, speaking for the Senate President, His Excellency Godswill Obot Akpabio. Thank you very much, distinguished Senator. As we make progress, I have the permission of Mr. Speaker to make welcome, to give his goodwill message, Mr. Mohammed Fall, who is the resident coordinator of the United Nations in Nigeria. He's the head of all UN agencies in Nigeria. So if he's in the room, then he should be able to speak. While he's coming, let me acknowledge the presence of Dr. Vanessa Fala, Country Director, International Labour Organization, ILO. Please, there are many UN people in the room. I thought you'd be clapping for the country representative. Mr. Mohammed Fall, Resident Coordinator, United Nations in Nigeria. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much to the Speaker of the House, the Deputy Speaker of the House, to our royal fathers here represented, to the member of the civil society, the international community. Allow me to stand on the established protocol. On behalf of the United Nations family in Nigeria, I wanted to express our support to this process for the bill. There couldn't be better time for this. The reason being that this year, 2025, is celebrating what we call Beijing plus 30. 30 years by which progress has been made throughout the world when it comes to women's rights and gender equality. But this year is also 5 years before we reach 2030, where the target is set for the Sustainable Development Goal. And as you know, the goal number 5 is not only one of the 17th goal of the SDG, but it's one of the most important. Our pride today is to see Nigeria taking this path. And as I always say, when I speak in this kind of gathering, I remove my hat of UN resident coordinator and speak as a son of the soil, speak as a son of the continent. It is a sub-region and a continent where people look up to Nigeria. When Nigeria progress, the rest of the sub-region and the rest of the continent progress. By taking the seed bill, you are showing the way to the rest of our continent. You are rising to the leadership that we look up to Nigeria for the sub-region and for the continent. That's why you can be sure that this journey is not only yours. This journey is our journey too. And in each of these steps you will make, you will find UN through the coordination that I represent here, but also through the agencies that are represented here, which are the United Nations Women's Organization, the United Nations Development Program, the UNIDO. Our entire family will be with you in this journey. Don't feel alone in this journey. Thank you so much for your attention.
House of Representatives, my dear brother, my partner, Right Honorable Benjamin Okezi-Kalu, who incidentally is the chairman as well of the Committee on Constitutional Amendment of the House, the principal officers of the House of Representatives here present, members of the House of Representatives Committee on Constitution, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm truly honored to address you at this national public hearing on the review of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This occasion marks a significant moment in our democratic journey and legislative process. It crowns months of deliberate, nationwide engagement designed to ensure that Nigerians themselves shape the evolution of our supreme law. Under the capable leadership of the Deputy Speaker, Right Honorable Benjamin Okezi-Kalu, the chairman of the Constitutional Review Committee, travel across all 6 geopolitical zones, convening zonal and regional hearings that gather the hopes, concerns, and insights of our diverse population. In those engagements, Nigerians from every background spoke with clarity and passion about the future they seek. Today's forum unites those regional voices in a single national conversation. It reflects the House of Representatives' steadfast commitment to participatory governance and inclusive nation building, affirming that every Nigerian has a meaningful voice in shaping the document that defines our republic. I wish to begin by commending the committee for its diligence and inclusivity. They have demonstrated through their work that a constitutional amendment must be a listening exercise before it becomes a legislative one. The publication of the summarized compendium of bills, the online portals for feedback, the open invitations for memorandum, and the dedication with which members attended zonal sessions all demonstrate a people-driven process. I congratulate the Deputy Speaker and every member of the committee for discharging this responsibility with integrity and patriotism. I also salute all who travel from every corner of the country to participate today. From the outset of this review, the House of Representatives has pledged that we will conclude the process in a timely manner. Nigerians are wary of constitutional reforms that drag on for years, losing momentum and eroding public trust. We recognize that after the National Assembly votes on these bills, the state houses of assembly must also consider and approve them under Section 9 of the Constitution. To honor this requirement, we have set clear timelines. We intend to vote on the proposals expeditiously and to transmit them promptly to the State House of Assembly so that concurrence can be secured within the current legislative session. Reform delayed is reform denied, and Nigerians deserve clarity and closure. By acting decisively, we give states enough time to debate, to deliberate, and endorse the people's will without the pressure of electoral calendars or political distractions. I am delighted at the presence of so many women today. The reserved seats for women proposal will create additional seats in the National Assembly and state assemblies to ensure that every state and senatorial district has women's voice in lawmaking. This is not tokenism, but a constitutional mechanism to accelerate gender inclusion until structural barriers are dismantled. Similar provisions ensure representation for persons with disabilities at the federal, state, and local levels, recognizing their right to fully participate in shaping the laws that affect their lives. Another amendment requires a minimum threshold of women in ministerial appointments to ensure gender balance. These measures will make our democracy more representative and our policies more responsive and our country more just. Recognizing traditional institutions is another important proposal. Our traditional rulers are stabilizers in their communities, mediators in conflicts, and custodians of culture. By assigning them a defined advisory and functional role, particularly in local peace building and community security collaboration, we integrate their strength into our democratic framework without undermining Republican principles. This approach acknowledges Nigeria's cultural realities and leverages them to foster national unity and stability. Honorable colleagues, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as is apparent by now, many of the proposals before the National Assembly perfectly correspond with President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, which prioritizes security, economic revitalization, inclusivity, and transparent governance. Our constitutional reform, therefore, will provide the legal chassis on which that agenda can be driven forward. By embedding these principles in our Constitution, we ensure that renewed hope is not just a slogan, but a living reality. The President has called for state policing and inclusive governance. He has championed fiscal discipline and unity in diversity. These amendments give lasting effect to those priorities and demonstrate cooperation between the legislative and executive arms for the good of our country. I call on all stakeholders gathered here, civil society organizations, professional associations, labor unions, traditional rulers, political parties, youth and women groups, the media, and every citizen to engage robustly and constructively in this hearing. Present your positions with clarity and patriotism. Offer solutions where you see challenges. Ask questions where you seek clarification. Even after today, continue to educate your communities, brief your state assemblies, and hold those accountable.
Constitutional reform is a process that relies on your vigilance and your participation. Furthermore, I urge us all to conduct ourselves as patriots. Changes to the Constitution should transcend party politics, religious groups, and religious loyalties. While we may disagree on some issues, our shared goal is a Nigeria that works better for everyone. As Speaker, I pledge that we will take your contribution seriously and consider the bills with diligence, fairness, and urgency. We will engage the state assemblies respectfully and transparently to secure their concurrence. We will continue to work with the executive and with you, the people, to ensure that the amendment process proceeds smoothly. On behalf of the House of Representatives, I would like to thank you for your presence, your ideas, and your commitment to Nigeria's democratic project. I challenge us to move from hearing to history, from proposals to progress, and from hope to renewal. May God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. May He guide our deliberation today. May He strengthen our resolve to build a nation where peace and justice shall truly reign. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was a rousing speech from the Speaker of the House of Representatives,
because both committees have been very much in collaboration with each other, and we are now getting to critical stages. I will identify, the Deputy Speaker has already spoken to several of the bills, so I wouldn't speak too much about them. The Deputy Speaker has also given a lot of support to the technical experts, and we're delighted to have you as chairman of the committee. We really are grateful for all the support. The Speaker has been wonderful, giving indications and giving directives to all of the National Assembly support arms to support this effort on constitutional review. The Right Honorable Speaker, we really, really value your contributions to this. And as some of us may remember, it's not just the Speaker. The Speaker's wife has also been very much in the forefront of this work that we've been doing, particularly on the Special Seats Bill. But it's not just the Special Seats Bill that's an issue. There are several other issues. And most of these amendments seek to secure grassroots governance, ensure timely and fair elections, expand rights and representation, strengthen accountability, and stabilize Nigeria's democratic order. One of the first amendments is on local government autonomy. There are bills, and these are all proposals coming from the committee, both in the Senate and in the House of Representatives, because it's now joint, and the references to what is called House Bill and Senate Bill is now removed, and we now have basically proposals from the National Assembly. Looking at one, local government autonomy. There are proposals to ensure that the local government councils are fully established as its own tier of government with democratic elections. So the whole idea of caretaker committees is proposed in these bills to be removed. Government or state governments are no longer allowed to create caretaker committees in the proposals that are being proposed. And then the functions of local governments are also being expanded, and the whole idea of tenure, fixed tenure for local governments is also established, so that every local government across the country has a known tenure which is guaranteed by the Constitution. The Right Honorable Chairman of the committee, the Right Honorable Benjamin Carlo, also mentioned state police. There are proposals to create state police alongside federal police with the added safeguards that are needed to avoid abuse. I know that there are a lot of people who are worried about state police or state policing. The committees have been looking at this issue to respond to the demand for state police, but also respond to the demand for safeguards against abuse when they are established. So the proposals include establishing a federal and state police service commission, and details of this are also available in what has been uploaded on the various websites, including the PLAC website, placng.org. There are proposals also to establish State Council of Traditional Rulers and ensure that traditional rulers are recognized for the role that they play in providing advisory role on culture, customary law, security, and intercommunal issues. There are, as the Deputy Speaker also mentioned, proposals on elections and ensuring that elections are better established to be fair and to respond to citizens' demands. So there are proposals on ensuring that elections are held on the same day across the country. All elections, presidential, governorship, National Assembly, and state elections are being proposed to be held on the same day. Deputy Speaker also mentioned the issue of Electoral Offences Commission. There is a proposal which has been accepted in the committees to establish a commission for investigation and prosecution of election offenders. These are all part of the proposals in place. In addition, there is also the issue of establishing the Political Parties Registration and Regulation Commission. These two commissions, Electoral Offences Commission and Political Parties Registration and Regulation Commission, are dated, coming even as far back as the Ways Committee reform proposals. There are also proposals on election petitions to create strict deadlines and timelines. The whole idea is to ensure that nobody gets sworn into office before the general swearing-in date, so that those who are elected and who have, whose elections have been disputed, there are timelines now provided that these elections all conclude before any person is sworn into office. The purpose, of course, is obvious, and I think would help with respect to how elections would be handled. There are also proposals to ensure that every election, except the presidential election, goes through 2 levels of adjudication. So whether it's the State Assembly or National Assembly elections, they will go through the Election Petition Tribunal and terminate at the Court of Appeal. Governorship elections will originate in these proposals from the Court of Appeal, which will be given original jurisdiction, and terminate at the Supreme Court, sorry. So for governorship elections, they would be Court of Appeal and Supreme Court. And there is a proposal in these amendments that states that every petition, election petition regarding the presidential election will go straight to the Supreme Court, which will give the final decision on this issue. There are also proposals regarding how we sign or make treaties in this country to ensure that every treaty entered into by Nigeria is presented to the National Assembly for domestication within 180 days. One of the issues that was in place, that was in conversation in the 9th Assembly, was the issue of citizenship by marriage. If you look at the Constitution that exists right now, it only provides for spouses of men to be registered as citizens. The proposal here now is, and we said this before, that this is a human rights bill. We don't want it regarded as a women's bill. This is a human rights bill, so that both men and women have equal rights to register their spouses after they have resided in Nigeria for 5 years. There are also human rights issues in the area of death sentencing for pregnant women. If a woman is pregnant and she is convicted for an offense involving death, this amendment proposes that no woman who is pregnant and who has been convicted of a capital offense is sentenced to death. The sentence is reduced to life imprisonment. There is also another human rights bill, which is a ban on or description of police parade or security agencies parade of suspects. This is defined as torture now under the Constitution, and the proposal is that the parade of suspects before cameras, before media, is explicitly prohibited as it amounts to torture of citizens and preempts fair trial. Of course, the big elephant in the room is the women's representation, which is special seats. I think we're at a point where this has been discussed. It was up in the Ninth Assembly. It didn't have the same momentum that it has now. Now it has bigger momentum. The Right Honorable Speaker has given specific instructions in the House of Representatives that every machinery of the House of Representatives marches towards support of this bill. The Right Honorable Speaker, we value that. The Deputy Speaker has been very much working hand to hand or hand in hand with the Speaker to push this, and we are all looking forward to this. I want to say that this bill is both in the Senate and in the House of Representatives, and as we move towards campaigning for this, let's not forget that you have a bicameral legislature. You also have 36 State House of Assembly. They all need to vote for this bill, and all of our advocacy should be as widespread as possible. And like has been mentioned by Sam Hart, who has been moderating this, we also have to be very careful with the language that we use. The men are the ones who dominate. So we have to ensure that as we get them and convince them to vote, they do not feel that this is a threat to anybody. This is a bill that all of us truly support. There's also the bill on legislative inauguration, such that, as has happened with State House of Assembly, you do not have a situation where in some states, members of the state assemblies are not sworn in. So there is a provision here to change that. There are several other issues. I think at this stage, I would not go too much anymore. There are miscellaneous issues. Some states, some local governments have their names misspelled, and they have filed proposals or petitions for the change of names to reflect the reality. I think this has been ongoing with several constitutional amendments as well. There is a major issue regarding cross-carpeting. We have a situation where members of National Assembly or governors are elected and they defect. Now there is a proposal to change the definition of gross misconduct to include that if you defect from a party from which you are elected to another party, this will amount to gross misconduct for which you will be subject to impeachment. So these are quickly the issues. There's a lot more, and I think, like I said, if you do visit the House Committee on Constitutional Review website, the Senate Committee website, and the website of Policy and Legal Advocacy Center, placng.org, you would see the full proposals. Again, Mr. Speaker, the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker, we are very grateful as consultants to the National Assembly for the work that you have given to us, for the support that you have given. You could see the Deputy Speaker when he came in this morning. He folded his sleeves and basically was helping us to push to expand the walls of this meeting room. We had not anticipated this number, but the Deputy Speaker came in and said he was not going to start these proceedings without everybody coming in. The Right Honorable Deputy Speaker, thank you so much for all of this, and thank you for all your support. Thank you.
The Deputy Speaker, because of pressing engagement, and he has been here, the President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency